everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today's deck is Sidisi Banned Card Tribal. For any of you that weren't following, when they released the Magic Online 1 vs 1 format, they decided it was easier to go to a single ban list, and the ban list that they generated was developed for 1 vs 1, and Wizards did not test it at all for multiplayer. This led to a number of really broken cards being unbanned in the multiplayer Commander format. And today, we're going to try to abuse as many of those as possible. So thank you, Wizards, for unbanning these cards so that I can show everyone just how broken they really are. So let's take a quick look at some of the cards that got unbanned that we'll be trying to exploit today as much as we possibly can. First up, we have Prophet of Krufix. In a 1 vs 1 game, this card is like unbeatable, because the second they play it, they untap, and by the time it comes back to your turn, they have counter magic up, so you really can't ever get rid of it. Next on the unbanned on Magic Online list is Upheaval. And I've had the displeasure of playing against this a couple times in 1 vs 1, and you don't cast it on turn 6, you cast it when you have more than 6 mana, float some mana, and then play any threat on the board, and your opponents probably can't do anything about it. Also, just another really stupid card. We have Primeval Titan. In a game of Commander, the person who gets the most Primeval Titan triggers is usually going to win the game. They won't necessarily win it on the spot, but a couple turns down the road, they'll just have so many more resources than every other player at the table that they will eventually win the game. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Dark Depths, but you can imagine that anytime I'm casting Primeval Titan, I could just be getting the Dark Depths combo. Next on the list, we have Sylvan Primordial. Sylvan Primordial has the same clause as Primeval Titan, in which whoever gets the most Sylvan Primordial triggers probably wins the game. Essentially, it's a 6/8 creature that has 3 Bramble Crushes and 3 Nature's Lore or Rampant Growth. Next, we have Sundering Titan. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, choose a land type and destroy a land of each basic land type. And then finally, we have Sway of the Stars, which will be just absolutely unfun. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into his or her library, then draws 7 cards, and each player's life total becomes 7. This is another one of those situations where you float a bunch of mana, cast any threat, and your opponents probably won't be able to deal with it in any sort of timely manner. And last on the list, we have Recurring Nightmare. I've also had the displeasure of playing against this card, and in a 1 vs 1 game, the opponent had Recurring Nightmare and Primeval Titan, and it literally just ended the game. So this video is really an exercise in why these cards are banned. Although Sidisi is the commander, Sidisi is not the main focus of this deck. This is basically just going to be a Reanimator style deck. And Sidisi will help with that, but she's not the main focus. The main focus is getting one of these busted-ass creatures into play, and then just abusing it as much as possible. Alright, Commander time. Playing some Sidisi Brood Tyrant Banned Card Tribal. We could keep this or mulligan. We have 3 lands in hand, and we have Erebos, so that'll let us draw later if we need to. I'm going to keep this hand. It's a little bit slow, but I think it'll be alright. Now, I did put a comment when I created this game that I'm looking for strong decks. I didn't feel right playing this deck against someone just looking to play a fun deck and have a good time, because our deck should get pretty abusive pretty quickly. So let's take a look at what our opponents are playing. We have Ertai the Corrupted. I've never actually seen this commander. Sacrifice a creature or enchantment to counter target spell. Seems pretty good. We have Tana the Bloodsower, makes a bunch of tokens, and Sidar Kondo of Jamura. So, unblockable tokens. And then we have Azusa Lost But Seeking. So I faced some Azusa decks. Azusa can be very strong, and can definitely punish us for keeping a slow hand. We're going to start with this Breeding Pool. We're going to pay the life, and we're going to drop out the Miri's Guile. This will allow us to rearrange the top of our deck at the start of our turn, which could help us to speed up our hand a little bit, get some mana ramp going, things like that. Azusa will punish us if we play too slowly. Essence Warden for the partnered opponent. And back to our turn. So we get our Miri's Guile trigger. Can always yield to that. Ooh, we have a Sylvan Library, a Rex Sage, and a Forest. We're going to go with the Sylvan Library. So we're not needing the Rex Sage right now, so I'm going to actually shuffle that away. I really want to find some mana ramp, so I'm going to shuffle the top of our library and go look for a land. We'll get the Watery Grave. So Sylvan Library into play and pass the turn. Imperial Seal for our opponent. Windbrisk Heights for the partnered opponent. That should work well with their token strategy. So the hideaway ability is they'll get to look at the top 4 cards of their library, put one under the Windbrisk Heights, and whenever they attack with 3 or more creatures, they can activate the Windbrisk Heights to play that card for free. It's a good card in Standard. I used to play it a lot. Clear the land. What the hell is this? Each player reveals the top 5 cards of his or her library, puts all land cards revealed this way onto the battlefield tapped, and exiles the rest. Oh my god. Oh, we lost some stuff. Did we ever lose some stuff? No, we will not pay the life. And it's a pretty good exile pile going on. Let's see what we lost. Actually, not too bad. So we lost Frost Titan, Compulsive Research, and Regrowth. And it's back to our turn. That does ramp our lands a little bit, so that is very helpful. So we have Treasure Find, Tropical Island, Wood Elves. The Wood Elves will help us ramp, which will be good. Nothing really interesting with the Treasure Find yet. I think I'm just going to eat the life here to draw the cards. So we have the choice between Wood Elves or just going with Sidisi. There's about 25 creatures in this deck, so we have a reasonable chance of hitting 1 creature, but probably not more than that. Actually, if we play the Wood Elves, that means we can cast Primeval Titan next turn. Actually, well, we'd be able to cast the Prime Time anyway. I think I'm going to play the Sidisi right here. Alright, so we milled some lands and a Solemn Simulacrum. Not too bad. Not exactly cards that we're looking for right now, so I'm okay with that. And pass the turn. We do get 1 zombie out of the deal. We actually got really lucky. The Azusa player only hit 1 forest? Wow, so the other 3 opponents combined only hit 1 total land off that clear of the lands, so we got decently lucky off that we hit a couple. We hit 2 lands and only had to exile 3 cards. So Reese the Redeemed creating some tokens, and Essence Warden gets more triggers. Opponent's up to 44. So there's no blue mana open, so I think we're free to just slam this Prime Time on our turn. Nissa Vital Force coming into play. Opponent decides to plus it, makes a 5/5 creature out of their forest. It's a forest elemental creature. So back to our turn. Miri's Guile goes on the stack. Let's look at the top of our library. Hey, there's our own Nissa Vital Force. Not something we need at the moment, though. We have a land. What to put on top? We already have a land in hand. I think I'm going to put the Runescar Demon on top. I want to be a little bit careful with the life total, so I'm not going to draw extra with the Sylvan Library right here. So, play our land. Slam this Primeval Titan. Banned card number 1. Primeval Titan coming into play, getting some land triggers. So again, I don't have Dark Depths, but imagine that this is the Dark Depths combo. That's why this card is banned in multiplayer and needs to be rebanned on Magic Online. I'll get Urborg and Reliquary Tower. And then I think we'll start the combat. So we'll attack like that. We'll send Sidisi at the token opponent, and we'll send the zombie at the Ertai opponent. And we do some more milling. We hit a Fleshbagger Marauder, a Stormtide Leviathan, and a Farhaven Elf. So that's actually good. That means that if we need to cast this Living Death for any reason, now we have a couple good targets in our graveyard. Get some good value creatures back from the living end if we need to. Tana the Bloodsower coming into play. So Tana's an interesting card. I have a deck that I want to build with Tana, but just haven't had a chance to put it together yet. Where I want to make as many tokens as possible and then cast Warp World and go crazy with Warp World and landfall triggers. I do hope to get that built sometime soon, but I have been short on time. So, opponent ultimates their Nissa. Whenever they play a land, they'll get to draw a card. So with Azusa, that'll probably get pretty crazy pretty quickly. Let's see if they have any better plays. I assume they didn't play Azusa earlier because they didn't have any lands in hand, so we'll see what happens there. So Azusa comes down now, plays a land, Homeward Path. Dauntless Dower Bark for the Azusa opponent. It's a 7/7, holy crap. And it'll get Trample as long as he controls another tree folk. Back to our turn, Miri's Guile on the stack. 3 lands, ouch. So again, gonna try to conserve life total. Drop a land. Let's go to combat. Azusa makes me the most nervous. So right now, the Ertai opponent hasn't really done much, but the Tana Bloodsower opponent is about to start getting some stuff going, and the Azusa opponent just makes me really nervous because big green threats can end the game very quickly. So I want to find a way to start getting in as much damage as I can on the Azusa opponent, but right now our options aren't spectacular to do that. We will send the Prime Time at the Tana Bloodsower opponent. I'm going to send everything at the Bloodsower opponent. I'm going to leave 1 zombie back just to block so we don't get hit by the Dower Bark. Attack like that. Get another Sidisi trigger. And we'll get a Primetime trigger as well. I didn't really pack the deck full of super interesting lands to go find, so I put this deck together kind of quickly, so that is definitely an area where I could upgrade, but again, this is a limited time sort of thing where this ban list won't be around for very long. They will be switching to separate ban lists for 1 vs. 1 commander and multiplayer commander. What'd we hit? We lost our Damnation, we lost our Ever After, and a Marsh Flats. That's not great, but we do have the Treasure Find, so we can get things if we need it. Also, we have the Seasons Past. So opponent down to 38. Cast this Wood Elves. Find a land. Play our Erebos. Pay 2 life. Draw a card. And, ooh, Buried Alive. Nice. Nice. So we can go find the rest of our broken cards with Buried Alive. And potentially, with the Living Death, we could just end the game. Or at least, we get to a point where our opponents couldn't recover. So I spent some time on Reddit when they made the original ban announcement for 1 vs. 1 Commander. And a lot of people were like, nah, Primetime's fine for Modern. It should be fine in Commander. Look how many lands I have. It's turn 5. I have 12 lands on turn 5. Havengul Lich for our opponent. Sidar, Kondo of Jamura coming into play. It's a lot of text on this card. It's a 2/5 flanking. So whenever a creature with flanking blocks, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. So essentially all these small creatures are going to become unblockable. So opponents coming in at us. Not much we can do about it. Skull Clamp for our opponent. Harmonize for our opponent. We're going to draw some cards. Draws another card off the Nissa Vital Force. And another card off the Nissa Vital Force. Bane of Progress for our opponent. Ends up destroying 4 different things. Has 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Destroys all artifacts and enchantments and gets a +1/+1 counter for each one. So I feel like I'm going to need to apologize to my opponents for the things that I'm about to do in this turn. So here we go. Start with Buried Alive. Go find our broken-ass creatures. Get a Sylvan Primordial, a Sundering Titan, and let's just say I guess Avenger of Zendikar will help us close the game out quickly. So we're going to get some zombies. So I'm going to swing in to actually try to get our Primetime killed, so that way we can reanimate it with Living Death. We'll attack like that. So we get a Sidisi trigger, get a Primetime trigger. So opponent's going to block. That's going to work out good. We're going to send our Sidisi to the graveyard, and then we're going to Living Death. All right, so send our Sidisi to the graveyard instead of the command zone. Let the combat damage resolve. We lose a bunch of stuff. Play our Living Death. Everything goes crazy. We get a million triggers. So Bane of Progress comes back, kills our artifacts. So 2 Sundering Titan triggers go on this stack. Holy Jesus. Our Solemn Simulacrum dies, we draw a card. So, Sundering Titan. Here's another banned card that doesn't belong in the format. It's another one of those cards that it's too easy to abuse with reanimation or bounce triggers. Get ourselves a land. Avenger of Zendikar triggers. Fleshbag Marauder. Sacrificing the Fleshbag Marauder. Primeval Titan. Get 2 more Avenger triggers. So there's another combo, is just Primeval Titan and Avenger of Zendikar that can also end a game in a hurry. Sidisi trigger, Solemn Simulacrum, Avenger of Zendikar, destroy more lands off the Sundering Titan, get some things with the Sylvan Primordial, Avenger of Zendikar, triggering Avenger of Zendikar, and pass our turn. So, I apologize for the turn in advance, but our opponent's still really salty, because I blew up all their lands with stuff. So, sending a little apology out to our opponent. We will need to find a way to kill our Stormtide Leviathan, but we can use this Treasure Find and pull back our Fleshbag Marauder to get rid of it. And then we have easily lethal on board. Opponent says, "I've proved my point, you are excused." So, opponent's got an Ugin. Wow, that can actually get them out of this. That's gonna get us pretty good, actually. So exiles for 7. Might as well get some draws in with Erebos. Sway of the Stars. Oh, man. So, we're left with the Stormtide Leviathan. And we just lost we lost most of the creatures in our deck. So that Ugin got us pretty good. That doesn't mean we don't have more shenanigans up our sleeves. I don't even know if we have lands left to get with Cultivate. So, go to combat. Go after the Azusa opponent since they have mana and can actually do things. And then we're just gonna play out our hand. Cast Sidisi. Mill some stuff. No creatures, it looks like. We have a Fleshbag. Well, we have Sundering Titan. We get Sundering Titan again. That would make our opponent really salty. So I think right here we go Rune-Scarred Demon. Just try to find some things to close out the game. Grave Titan. Grave Titan can end the game quickly. Yeah, I like Grave Titan right here. So we got some decent power into play. Again, we'll have to resurrect our Fleshbag Marauder one way or the other to kill the Stormtide Leviathan so that we can actually attack. But subtracting the Stormtide Leviathan, we will have 19 power on the board, able to attack next turn. Opponent plays Avenger of Zendikar. This could be good for them. If they have a bunch of lands they can slam, yeah, those are gonna get deadly. There is some reason to think that maybe we want this Stormtide Leviathan in play. Although we could get back our Living Death and just play that again. What to do here? That's interesting. So our forest can tap for all 3 types of mana because of the Urborg and the Stormtide Leviathan. Stormtide Leviathan makes all lands islands, and Urborg makes all lands swamps. That's fun. So I think the play right here, we'll just go to combat first. And I'm going to keep the Stormtide Leviathan around because the Avenger of Zendikar could actually kill us pretty easily. So we will need to take that opponent out before we can really do anything. Is there any way we can get some more power on board? Nissa Vital Force is actually... I'm going to pick up the Nissa Vital Force. So play Nissa. We're going to use the regrowth mode. I guess Fleshbag Marauder for now. Right now we just need time. I mean, we could Sway of the Stars. We'll Sway of the Stars if we need to. We'll see what happens with this Cultivate. We might be out of lands. We got a couple left. We'll pass the turn like that. Stitch Mangler coming into play for our opponent. This will actually slow us down a bit. Tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature does not untap during its next untap step. It's going to slow down our clock a little. Oh, that's an Akroma's Memorial. Turn off auto yields. Turn off auto... Oh, boy. What can we do to get out of this? Oh, man, our Reclamation Sage got exiled, which could have potentially gotten us out of this mess. Did not count on the Akroma's Memorial. So maybe the Sway of the Stars was the correct call, but opponent's going to get in with the combat damage. That's going to be the end of us. So we didn't win the game, but I think we proved the point that the cards that became unbanned for 1 vs. 1 need to be banned for multiplayer Commander. It's turn 9, and I have almost every land in my deck. That was basically all on the work of Primeval Titan and Sylvan Primordial. Opponent's still salty. Anyway, I think we proved the point that the cards that are banned the cards that they unbanned for 1 vs. 1 need to be rebanned for multiplayer Commander. This is something that they said they're going to fix sometime between July and August. I don't know exactly when. So you wouldn't be able to play this deck in paper. You can only play it on Magic Online because of the different ban lists that they have going on right now. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of the whole 1 vs. 1 unbanned fiasco. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.